they've done their job in the classroom. A few of the guys have final exams left, but most of them will be through by the next time we practice, which is tomorrow. That's always a relief for them because there's so much time for them to focus on baseball and to focus on the rest of their life, focus on where they're going to play this summer if they're an underclassman. So this is a very exciting time for them.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about a couple injuries. Will Ziersal, do you have any idea when he'll be available?
Will is progressing very well. He will throw again today. We'll get a better look at him today. Mainly we're interested in the velocity. He was not quite up to par the last time he threw, but we'll be anxious to see how he throws today at the end of practice. Cole Sands felt real good today. He will continue to progress tomorrow. We're optimistic that he'll be ready to go this weekend, either in relief or I can't say that we're exactly looking at him to start. It all depends on the next couple of days. It would not be a Friday, it wouldn't be a Saturday or a Sunday. It would probably be a Monday if he was to so-called start. Carp is out here today. He's still feeling the effects of the sickness that he had on Sunday. He's just coming out today because it's such a perfect day to come out and throw and move around, maybe bust a sweat, maybe he feels a little bit better tomorrow.
J.C. Flowers, how's he progressing in his recovery?
Still waiting to hear if we can get those removed. He's got one group of wires that need to be taken out in order for him to eat solid foods. And if he's able to get those out in the next 3 or 4 days, that would be a big help to us because then he would be able, as I said, to regain a normal diet. But let's just say that he's doing well. He's taking batting practice. He's shagging balls in the outfield, but he's not allowed to get up there and hit off live pitching until he gets those wires taken out. And that could happen probably as early as next week when we get back from Clemson.
When you talk about the diet, how much weight? Has he lost a lot of weight? Or, you haven't been able to eat real food.
No, he's lost a little bit, 5 or 6 pounds, which you would have thought he'd lose more than that. But he's had a lot of his food ground up, for lack of a better way of putting it, in a blender. But it's really a surprise that that's all the weight that he's lost. In 6 weeks Saturday it will be.
Sounds yummy.
Obviously all eyes on the record this weekend, but for you personally, going up before getting inducted into the North Carolina Sports Hall of Fame, what's that mean to you, just to be given an honor like that?
I think it's starting to sink in now because you look back when you were a kid and I was one of those gym rats. I was one of those park rats. If the park opened at 9, I was there at 8:55, and I'd stay there all day long. I'd bring a bag lunch, eat my lunch, and wait till the supervisors got back where they could open up the bin, they called it, and I'd play whatever was available, whether it was ping pong, horseshoes, badminton. That's just good memories of being involved and learning a lot about life, learning to get up when I got knocked down by maybe a bigger guy in a game of basketball, and I got to get back up and guard him. It was just a lot of good memories out of Charlotte.
Coach, Clemson, top dogs in the division. What do they do so well?
Clemson has overcome some problems. That's just one of the many things that they've done this year. But I've always been impressed with Monty Lee. He's done a great job. He was at College at Charleston. I got to know him when we competed when he was there. He's got a solid baseball team. For them to go to Virginia and win 3 games, that was impressive. They're a team that doesn't let anything really get them down. They've lost some tough games this year. I mean, they got swept at home by North Carolina State. They lost 2 out of 3 to Miami at home. But it didn't get them down to where they lost 6 or 7 out of 10. They just kept battling. So I think, to answer your question, they're a team that perseveres. If they get knocked down, they're going to get back up and come at you.
Coach, the next 2 to 3 weeks, you play Clemson, then you play NC State, who are ahead of you in the ACC Atlantic Division. Just how big is this home stretch as far as maybe even getting into a conversation for a national seed?
I really think that the next 3 weeks have everything to do with whether or not we're going to be a national seed. Because if you can impress people by beating people that have impressed the same people, like North Carolina did, winning 3 games against North Carolina State this past weekend, they vaulted 5 or 6 spots in the rankings. Now they're 6th in the country and projected to be a top 8 seed. So there's a lot at stake. It also is great preparation for a postseason, because the way college baseball has materialized over the last 15 years is phenomenal, because there's so many good teams. You can just look at the state of Florida, from Stetson to USF to UCF, FAU, Florida. There's so many good clubs in the state of Florida, and they're all looking to get to the postseason. Well, it's the same way in the state of North Carolina with, I mean, look at the number of teams from Duke, and just to name one that nobody knows that much about, Link Jarrett, who's a former Florida State shortstop. They've won 33 ball games at UNC Greensboro. It's just really, really competitive.
From a rotation standpoint, I know it's obviously hard to fill in the blanks maybe in full, but how are you kind of looking at things right now?
Well, we know Parrish is going to go for a Saturday night, and I wish I could give you a definitive, but I cannot, because we don't know how Carpy's going to feel. I do not see us trotting Sands out there on Sunday. If we do, it'll be a Monday. So we know that Van Eyck, of course, will be available. So you might say for Sunday, it'll be Carp or Van Eyck. And then Sunday, depending upon how Carp feels and how Sands feels, whoever didn't throw on Sunday will pitch Monday other than Sands.